Play ball! Blue 22, hike, hike, hike.
You are watching Sports and Sorts live on YouTube. That's 75% sports, 25% sorts. And here are your hosts, Shane and the Bry Man.
Get in the hole! That's what she said. No. Yeah, we're back on a Friday.
Ooh, almost 2 weeks.
Not typical. I know, because it's last Monday, so it's we've been a while. We had some stuff come up, scheduling stuff, and we decided to postpone it. It was going to be on Wednesday. We decided not to do Wednesday, and now we're doing Friday this week. So it happens. It's going to change around, and hopefully now sports seem to be coming back. Might be getting back to the Monday, Friday stuff, but we have to, just make sure it works with everybody's schedules. And we'll try and do maybe once or twice a week as much as possible. That's just our goal. But the main thing today is this is episode 250.
Wow. That is just
Thank you.
That is tremendous.
Thank you.
That's just that's impressive. 250, man. That's
It's party time, baby.
That's a lot.
It is.
That's pretty good.
Episodes, yeah. Started this a few years ago. Almost 4 years ago. And it's been going.
Yeah.
And it's going.
Well, we discussed that our anniversary was it August, right? That'll actually be 4 years.
Yeah. So it's coming up. It's basically been 4 years, and then we're gonna get to 5 years next year, which is crazy.
It's been fun, man. I still love doing this.
Yeah.
I mean, even though it's our audience is usually just each other, I still love doing it.
Yeah, there's
it's
nothing
still
wrong with
fun
that.
for me. Yeah. It's just us talking.
When we do get the randos that come in and stuff like that and chirp, and then we get random comments every once in a while that we
I
talk
even
about.
like the people who make horrible comments towards us and call us terrible things. It's fine. Hey, at least it's there's no such thing as bad publicity, right?
Sure. So yeah, we got a lot of things we're going to talk about today. I'm your host. I'm one of your hosts. My name is Shane Moore.
I'm the Bry Man.
And we are going to be talking about a lot of things, different things today. MLB, they're going to be starting the season. They have some new rules. We're going to be talking about that. And we'll see. We'll even give our kind of over-under if we think the season's actually going to start. NFL, they pretty much just told Fauci to go F himself by basically saying,
Go Fauci
you
yourself.
stay in your corner. We'll handle all people kind of deal. Yeah. And then multiple teams ended up with a lot of players positive for COVID-19. NBA, Vince Carter is retiring. He is officially retiring and makes sense. He's up there, even though he's playing still at a decent level, I guess, especially for his age. I can imagine his knees are probably pretty tired. And we'll get into a little PGA because they have some positive tests coming through. And that's a sport that everybody seemed to think that this is the easiest sport ever to be social distant. Well, that's proven a little more difficult. And Justin Thomas even came out and ripped the RBC tournament. The RBC hated the way that they did things in South Carolina. And we'll get into a little Bubba Wallace probably for a few minutes to give our speculative thoughts on that. And of course, Karen, we have Bry Man's Karen of the Week and Funko Friday. Got all that stuff. We're going to be coming at you with it over the show today. Let's get into, I would like to get in the MLB, but I don't want to get into it right off the bat. I want to see if maybe if Damian gets on or something like that, because if he gets on, I'm sure he's got some opinions on that. So we'll wait a few seconds. We'll probably tackle that second. Do you want to go into the NBA or do the NFL?
Sure.
Which one do you want to go to?
We can do the NFL. That'll be quick.
Okay.
So a little bit of time talking about
so the
Vince.
NFL basically came out. I mean, I don't have the exact quotes here and everything like that, but they essentially came out and just said, stay in your corner, Fauci. Will handle the NFL. And it's fitting that shortly thereafter, lots of positive tests. Ezekiel Elliott tested positive. Now, is this going to be really bad for them? We don't know. I mean, we really don't know how bad this is going to be for any of the players that are there. They do take a lot of abuse. They do have top-notch medical care too. So there's that. It's like the president walking around. he's got the best medical care ever. And even though he's a high risk person because of his age, he still has the best medical care on the face of the planet. So therefore, he can be a little bit more risque, I guess.
Sure.
He's going to have no problem getting ventilators and things like that. You know, it's going to be everything under the sun.
That stuff already exists in the White House.
Yes, it is all there and ready for any kind of, like, they are fully prepared for almost any situation. So it's the NFL. Yes, they have a lot of money. They have probably all the equipment they need. So I get it, what they're saying, but come on. I don't understand the people who are out there and are so anti-Fauci. Like, why? Why are you so anti-Fauci? Why don't you just trust some people who've been doing this for their whole life? They have nothing really to gain by telling you, be careful. Like, he's just telling you, he basically said, like, you should probably play in a bubble situation. And even then, if anybody kind of breaks into that bubble, your guys are all, like, not all of you, but a good portion, you're going to get it. Now, and that's kind of proven with golf a little bit. Like, they're not doing a great job. Like, Rory McIlroy came out and said, I'm hiring a personal chef and I'm going to bring him everywhere with me. Yeah. I flew my caddy in. He is staying with me and we are not leaving. Like, that's us. That's our quarantine. And, you know, families and all that stuff. Like, I'm sure if the family wanted to come with the caddy, he might have said no because it just gets too expensive. But I'm sure, like, they would figure something out. The caddy makes good money too. I mean, he's making all the, 10% of whatever of Rory's winning. So he's making good money too. And Rory even said, we all make a good living at this. You should be able to do this. Like, it's a short-term thing. You want to keep playing. You want to have the ability to make more money. Do it, but do it safely. And this is the safe way to do it. Like, that's a smart way. And like Justin Thomas even came out and was saying how he's like, they did a terrible job. Like, people like all around in restaurants were wearing masks and they were just, right next to each other. And like, and then you have people starting to test positive. Nick Watney did. But we'll get into that in a little bit more. But I just think the NFL and just not trusting a person who is basically a third party coming in and giving you his expert opinion. Right. And it's an expert opinion based on dozens and dozens of years in the field. Like,
he's the top infectious disease doctor on the planet. This is the guy we should be turning to.
Like, who should you trust then? Like, I don't understand.
If you can't trust him. Well, here, look, again.
Trust the guy who tells you we're going to do something with UV lights.
There are a couple things here. The NFL is always has rolled to the beat of its own drum. We see that in the way that they handle things like domestic abuse and in the way that they handle PED cheating scandals. What I'm trying to say is a lot of shit just gets swept under the rug with the NFL. They've been very successful at it. And the reason why is because they're very successful. They make a lot of money. Their product is something that is not only very enjoyable and that most Americans favor as it's sport du jour, but on top of that, it has a huge gambling element to it and a huge fantasy football element to it. The NFL is flush with cash and popularity, and so they can kind of make their own rules. The other part of this, of course, is the highly politicized environment that we're living in now, where masks are, depending on who you are, they are either the work of the devil, which I'll talk about that later, or they are, in the case of people like you and me, who I think are more rational folks, they're things that can actually help prevent you from getting the disease, and more importantly, help you from spreading it to others. And that's the reality of it, that masks and PPE and protecting yourself, it's politicized. It's been politicized by the president. He's made it so that his followers believe that if you wear one of these things, you are showing he thinks it's a sign of cowardice. He thinks it's a sign of weakness. He thinks you're,
Well, it's because people over in Asia did it, like in China and Japan, they all like wear masks like after SARS and all that stuff, and he hates them. Yeah,
so he hates them. what I think is fascinating too about the whole mask thing is that it's just. So I should tell you this real quick. I wonder if I should do this like every week, make it a segment on the show where I talk about my experience at the dump when I go to take trash away, for every week. Because every week there's
Brian
a different
Mann's
episode.
Dump Run.
Yeah. I mean, there is a different episode of me getting confrontational with people, idiots who won't put masks on. I'll make it brief. Okay. So I get to the dump. There's about 7 people there. Only myself and one other person had a mask on. Everyone else did not have masks, no gloves, no PPE of any kind. Just walking around. And those people were also the ones not obeying any social distancing. They do not care. Now, keep in mind, I live out in the country. Even though we're in Connecticut, I live out in the country, so things are a little different out here. People kind of go again to the beat of their own drum, and so I go to throw my recycles away. There's basically 3 stations essentially when you go to the dump. You've got your trash, you've got your recyclables, and then you've got your cardboard. And they're all at 3 different spots. Close, but, a few feet apart. So anyways, I'm going to throw my recycles away, okay? I dump the stuff away. I turn around, and the first guy I see it was odd that the thing that set me off was actually the one other responsible person. But I turn around, and the guy that's closest to me and waiting next in line is the guy with the mask. And I point to him, and I mean point like full arm extension, point to him. And in a very loud voice, I said, "Thank you for wearing a mask." Then I turned around, and I just exploded. There was just an explosion. Like when Lex takes a big shit and there's just an explosion in his diaper. This was just an explosion from my mouth. And here's what I said. I screamed as loud as I could. I was Abe Simpson, old man yelling at clouds. I screamed as loud as I could. Put on your fucking masks. And then I said, your fucking governor is not asking that much of you. And then there was a God fucking damn it. And then I got in my car and I continued to scream. I slammed my door, continued to scream like a lunatic, just a lunatic. At that point, I'm just yelling at myself, just barking at myself. And it was funny. I turned over, I looked to my left, and there was a woman there. She probably was a Karen, and I think she was just so taken aback. She actually went into her trunk, grabbed a mask, and put it on. And I was like, maybe that accomplished something.
Yeah.
But even still, even though I was like a little bit satisfied from that, even still, I just was just yelling as I was like pulling out of the dump.
Good.
And this is like the Chronicles of the Brian Man at the dump every fucking Wednesday or Saturday. I'll be there again tomorrow morning, so you could expect to hear something maybe on Monday.
And this show is not suited for work.
No, or children, or shit. I mean, fuck.
Earmuffs.
All
right.
TikTok shit. But the point is.
Yes, Brian Man, what's the point?
Wearing a mask, I was going to save this for like the outro as like my kind of, my public service announcement, my PSA, but why not do it now? And I feel this sucks because, right, the more you know, the more masks you wear, the better off we'll all be. I just don't understand. I heard one doctor on the Howard Stern show say this past week, basically, if you wear a mask and I wear a mask and 80% of Americans wore masks, this would go away. It would dwindle to the point where it would be extremely, we could navigate it and it would be very manageable for our population. But 80%, never going to happen. Never going to happen. Because this president has made it such that if you wear one of those, you are branded by him and his administration as a low-life coward. But you know what's funny? My brother and I were talking about this yesterday. And I actually said to my brother, I'm like, Trump really missed a great marketing opportunity here because he could have
those masks. Well, I'm sure but they're still getting made.
Oh, I'm sure there are, but he could have also.
He's not the brightest bulb.
No, he's not. He's a total buffoon. But he could have. First of all, he could have made a ton of money for his campaign by selling masks that said something like 2020 keep instead of keep America great again or make America great again, like help keep America alive or something like that with a Trump 20 slogan. And he could have sold, first of all, then if he did that and he wore one, all of his constituents and all of his, racist base of, KKK followers would have worn one too. Because they would have been like, all right, our president wear one. We're going to wear one too.
Yeah.
I mean, they would have jumped right on that bandwagon. They would have been like, oh, shucks, golly gee williker, President Clown Shoes wearing his mask. We're going to wear ours.
It's not just them, though. I mean, you got a lot of
Oh, I know.
smart people who have a lot of money that are making some pretty dumb decisions.
It's
like,
not just the shucks, golly gee willikers of the South that are.
I mean, kind of. But like, it's just one of those things that, like when I go golfing and I try and I go with people that I know and I kind of stay away from. We do a good job of staying away and social distancing and all that kind of stuff. It's good. And the thing that I do notice though, like when you go, like so like I golf at a couple places, like Lyman Orchards, golf there. I haven't noticed too much. I mean, they're right. Phase 2 has started. So like they've taken the things out of the cups, like you're allowed to touch the flag now. You can have 2 people riding in a cart together. I think like that, all that stuff I'm nowhere near that. I'm walking for the rest of the year. I am not going to be getting in a cart. Not anytime soon. I may never again unless I absolutely have to. For one, it's cheaper.
Good exercise anyway.
It's cheaper and it's good exercise.
Plus, your game is good enough that you're mostly going down the fairways. You're not all over. You're not all.
Well, I mean,
I'm sure you shank a ball or two.
Yeah. But it's one of those things that you're pushing the limits right now. Like I don't understand what's so negative about having that thing in the cup that you can just kick up with your foot or hit with your putter to knock the ball out.
Sure.
I don't understand why you need to take that out.
Right.
This year or ever. One, it speeds up play.
It does. Yeah.
2, because you're not taking the pin out. You're not putting it on. You don't have to go and put the pin back in. You don't have people like, so like it's
maneuvering,
just, you put it and the rule is if it hits the cup and bounces out, it's in like that. That's fine. Granted, tournament rules might have to be a little different. Sure. Figure something else out. But I even then, I don't see why it can't be. I don't know why you can't do it. I have no idea. What is the problem with that? I just don't get it. What the heck? I'm getting a FaceTime call from somebody for some reason. I don't know why. But anyway. So anyway, I just don't get the reason why you're going to this next phase yet. I don't understand the reason why, people are needing to be so close right now. I get the urge to. I want to go and hug my in-laws and hug my parents and hug
people. Have cabin fever, and this has just been too much of an inconvenience, and nobody
you and I have said like we're kind of built for this. Like
sure,
like you've been working from home for a long time.
Very long.
I have been working from home from a long time. I've also been, doing daddy, daddy, or what is that? Mr. Mom. I've been doing that for a while. And also growing up, I was grounded pretty much from the age of like, I don't know, 9 until I was 17. So like I never was able to leave really that much anyway. So like I have been built for this in a comical way, but at the same time, I also have a healthy fear of like just germs and stuff in general, and
also
I don't want to die. I mean, that's part of the whole germ factor. If I wasn't scared of germs, I would obviously that wouldn't be an issue. Like I feel like the germs are going to kill me. But anyway, like I feel like they're just all these sports are just moving too fast with not enough information. Fauci is a smart dude. I feel like golf is one of those sports that you can do a good job of social distancing, but I feel like even that, like they're like in the parking lot, like I was when I started this whole rant was at the beginning was when you get back to the parking lot, like not at Lyman, they don't allow people to stay close to each other for longer than a couple minutes. Like then they say, all right, you guys got to get to your cars. I think that's great. I think that's moving people in the proper direction. Making sure your people are safe. They have a sign right out front. Do not enter without a mask. Things like that. Very appropriate. I don't know how hard, fast they are on
Well, they have those
Hold-
same signs at the dump,
Right.
multiple ones.
Right, and people still
There's-
just don't, right,
They don't
because you're
care.
not carrying them
People
out. Like,
don't care.
you can't exercise with them. I mean, you can't golf with it. Like, if you're walking, you can't golf with a mask on. It's like
Yeah.
impossible. You won't make 7-8 holes. You'll just be exhausted.
Right,
Because you're going to be breathing in carbon dioxide, and it's
Yeah.
you're not going to get any oxygen. It's going to be terrible.
Right.
But in the parking lot after particularly at some like country clubs, see people, and this isn't like when I'm done golfing, because we golf late, and most people that are a part of country clubs, when they get their rounds done earlier in the day, but then you see them in the parking lot afterwards. They're within a foot or two of each other. They're drinking beer. They're arguing because one's pro-Trump, one's not, one's anti-Trump, and they're just sitting there yelling at each other. And like the person who has, this is the thing that sucks, is like the person who has the mask on is the anti-Trump person who's protecting the Trump person from getting COVID, and the Trump is just gonna give it to this other guy. And it's like, that's like the worst.
Yeah.
The absolute worst. And I just don't understand why. It's like, if you're gonna have to if you want to get close afterwards, fine, put a mask on. But still stay 6 feet apart. Like, you should still do that.
And the thing I keep saying about the masks is, look, do we like wearing them? No, I don't like wearing them. I hope someday not to have to be able to wear one, and I hope it's within a year. But for whatever time it's going to take to do it, I will, to protect my family and myself. But if you're going to have to wear one, at least like have some fun with it. I mean, I've made it a fashion statement. I've got Yankee ones. I've got some Disney ones on the way. I'm going to get some Miami Dolphin ones. I'll probably get some for all of my teams, because I think we're in this for the long haul, and especially since redneck America's out there infecting everybody. The worse that this gets, I mean, the longer we're going to have to keep. It's not only is it on the rise, it's almost now worse than it was even in April. I mean, in Texas and Florida and Arizona keep outpacing themselves every day in positive tests. They keep resetting their record.
Arizona was one of those places they wanted to do all the baseball.
I know, because now you know what that tells me too, especially with Florida, Arizona, and Texas. What do those three states have in common?
It's all
Think about it. Hot. And now one of the things that people thought was, when the heat comes, this thing's gonna, how's that working out? Maybe the three hottest states in the country, certainly 3 of the top 5 or 10 hottest states in the country, are having out of control, record-breaking COVID-19.
People going to the beach, and people getting way too close, and drinking on the beach, because that happens.
So the point is, the heat doesn't have it. This isn't the flu. This is not the flu. Because you're not hearing about the flu right now. Flu, if somebody gets the flu, it's like an anomaly. But this is clearly different. Maybe the only things they have in common are some similar symptoms. Other than that, this is a whole different ball of wax we're dealing with. And you can forget about a second wave. There's not going to be a second wave. There's just going to be a continuation of this first wave that's just going to get bigger. There won't be a second wave, because a second wave implies that the first wave died and went away. And now we're getting a second wave. That's not going to happen here. This is just going to be a giant fucking tsunami that wipes everything out in its path.
You're not wrong. All right, now let's get into. So that's
preferred.
It was a very all over the map, but kind of getting back into why NFL? Why are you so mad? Like, what's that kicker's name? Who does the podcast and very NFL? He used to kick for the Colts.
Was it Pat something?
Yes.
Yeah, I know who you're talking
about. I can't
what
remember.
About him?
McAfee? Is that his name?
Maybe, I don't know. Yeah. I know who you're talking about.
He was like, and you can't tell if he's being sarcastic or not, but he was yelling at Fauci. He was like, just get in your hole. Don't mess with my sport. And I can't tell if he was just being jokey or not, because it was just a clip that I saw, because it popped up on YouTube. But
well, Joe Rogan has gone full rogue now too.
Has he?
He what did he say about people who wore masks, that they were bitches? I think that's what he said.
Oh God.
Yeah.
So tell the 100,000 people that died. Now they're
right. The 120,000 that just keeps going up and up and up and up and up. This is nothing. It's just it's a bitches. They died. It's a cold.
It is a cold for some people.
can we just really quickly point out to how satisfying it was to watch President Dum Dum in front of his 6,133 people in Tulsa with a more than half empty arena.
Did you hear about that?
And he got. Oh, I watched.
But did you hear about the TikTok?
How he got duped by a bunch of teenagers on TikTok? Yeah, I think it's the greatest thing ever. I think it's great. I think it's absolutely phenomenal that him and his crack staff of imbeciles got completely duped by a bunch of fucking teenagers on the internet with an app that I have never even once opened. He got TikToked and he got pissed. And my favorite part of the whole fucking thing was the 2 separate walks of shame that he took. One from Air Force One to the helicopter, and then from the helicopter into the White House. Those were the best. And somebody set them to like some great songs, and it was so
Hello, darkness,
awesome.
my old friend.
It was so great. Oh, it was so great. And he just looked miserable and defeated. He looked like a guy who got off a plane and had just lost a championship game. Mm-hmm. And he had his makeup on the collar too, because he clearly wears a lot of makeup. And it was just the whole thing, just that somber look, that saunter. And it was great too, because both of the saunters, there was nobody around him. He was just by himself. Like nobody even wanted to be near him. I mean, they were walks of shame. And then, of course, he bounced right back the next morning on the toilet when he was tweeting and, all that shit like he always does. But for one night, you could see he could feel this slipping away from him because people, I think, are getting tired of this. I think, you know what? I think there's a lot of people who are looking at this presidency and saying, okay, maybe I understand why I voted for him. Maybe.
Do you think he's going to hear a lot?
Why I would vote for him again?
You think you're going to hear a lot of like if he doesn't get a second term, you think you're going to hear a lot of people say you're fired?
Oh God, that's going to be like the ultimate. I mean, that tweet's going to be so overused. It's going to be ridiculous. That
it's going to
GIF
be
will be
so
everywhere.
Bad, yeah.
It'll get out of control.
It's already old, and I just said
it's already old,
ago.
and it hasn't even started. So let's just hope we get to use that.
I hope so.
We really all need that. We need to press the hard reset button here.
You're fired.
In a hurry, because we've got hopefully only 4 more months before we can get him out. We gotta, and you gotta do it. I mean, man, oh man, if you're
get to those voting polls.
You got to get out there in November. I mean, hopefully there's mail-in ballot. He's not going to be able to prevent mail-in ballots. He'll cry and whine about it all he wants. He's not going to be able to prevent it. Not in a time like this.
No.
So.
All right. My mom said, basically was calling me out for my gray. She came in and posted, wow, I see gray. I've been gray for a while. Right here.
She couldn't even say hi, son. Mm-hmm. You look great. She just came right in with. Wow,
I think it's probably because I let it off. Was saying how I was grounded for like 8 straight years in my life.
Does your mom still hate me, or are we past all that?
I don't think she hates you. She doesn't hate you. I don't know if she really hates anybody. I think she hates Trump more than you do, though.
It's tough.
Yeah. It's tough.
She said she still has friends defending him. Yeah, well, we see that all the time.
Yeah.
That's going to be... It's hard, though. Like, I remember how hard it was for me to defend George W. Bush towards the end. And that was... And believe me, it was hard, but in comparison... I mean, I think I said this to somebody the other day, that Trump makes George W. Bush look like Abraham Lincoln. I mean, he makes him look like a great president.
Well, Trump has said Abraham Lincoln, he's a good president, but not like he's not as good as you think he is.
Right.
You know why. And then he's, you know why. You know why.
And I don't know why.
I don't either. You know why.
And even Trump the other day was trying to say, he actually tried to throw Lincoln into the group of like statues that people are trying to tear down. And I'm like, no, they're not. Nobody's tearing down Lincoln statues. I've heard about Washington statues being torn down and Jefferson statues being torn down. I don't think anybody's tearing down a statue of Abraham Lincoln. I think if anything, that's the statue that they're all going up to and they're being like, that's cool. I think they're all going up to the Lincoln statue and giving it a pat on the back. Like, thanks for being way ahead of your time, Abe, you know? Mm-hmm. But yeah. And it, as you can imagine, for me as a George Washington lover, this is difficult.
My mom said, hi, Brian.
But hello. And then she called me a genius.
No, not you. No.
I'm sure she was. Yeah.
I think it's more sarcastic about Trump being a genius, but I don't know. Who knows? All right. So that's our NFL. I guess that's our NFL talk.
Kind of.
We're talking about Fauci. I
maybe
mean,
the
that's really what it's
political,
about. I mean, it's more about like Fauci and like why are you being such an idiot? Just follow it. Just follow it. Just follow him. He is trying to guide you in the most responsible the way possible
through these very irresponsible times.
Yeah. All right. So let's get into let's go into NBA. We'll wait a few more seconds. We have several listeners, several people watching right now, but let's get into the NBA so we can so this way we can like get into the MLB and maybe if Damien's if he's watching by then. All right. So he might be busy though. So Vince Carter retires. Mm-hmm. And this is a guy who is so likable. Some of the most impressive dunks of all time. He is up there. I mean, there's not many people that you could say could beat him in a dunk contest. I mean, there's people like Dominique, Jordan, prime, Dominique in his prime that you would think maybe could beat them.
If we could have ever gotten a Jordan versus Vince Carter slam dunk contest.
Dominique was such a beast. Yeah, he was so powerful.
He had crazy hops too. Yeah, no, it would have been fun. That would have been fun.
And Jordan and Dominique had some good battles. So like it would have been fun to watch. Like and I might take Vince Carter in that because just as his hops were so incredible.
Yeah, no.
Some of the dunks that he did, just like that one in the Olympics.
The Olympic actually, it's funny. I was going to bring that up. That's to me the most memorable.
He jumped over a person.
Yeah, he did.
And dunked right.
And
it wasn't
like incredible authority.
Yeah, and it wasn't like a 5'10" guy.
No.
He jumped over like a 6'8" dude,
right?
Like with room to spare,
yeah,
and slammed it. It was like ridiculous.
I mean, in a game that they were destroying, I think they were playing Russia in that game. I don't remember, but they were destroying them. They were already up by like 20.
He just jumped.
And it was an interesting.
Guy's probably trying to take a charge.
Well, it was an interesting sequence too, because the ball was kind of all over the place, bouncing back and forth. Then America stole it, and then it ended up in his hands. And yes, he jumped from what was like maybe a third of the way up from the foul line over that guy, and like elbow over the rim, kind of, and just threw it down hard. And that to me is actually
most iconic dunks.
It is, and it's still to me his most iconic and most memorable.
That's so incredible. But yeah,
the question with Vince Carter is, is he a Hall of Famer? Now, what's interesting is listen, for this, how, especially we do this in baseball a lot, where you look at a guy's career and you say, okay, did he dominate an era for a while? Did he stand out, for a long time, and was he really this is where like Don Mattingly still becomes kind of an interesting case study for Hall of Fame, because for 5 years he was probably the best player in baseball, won an MVP, won a bunch of Gold Gloves, and we all know that Don Mattingly probably was.
I mean, he was a beast.
We all know that Mattingly probably was a Hall of Famer, but his career was shortened by injury, his back. But he also hit, like, for 10 years, Mattingly hit over 300, 10 straight years. Vince Carter, for 10 years, I don't know if they were all consecutive. I don't think so. I think there was 1 year where he didn't. But he has had 10 years of where he averaged 20.8 points or higher. His highest being 27.6 points per game, I think, in the 2000-2001 series, which was his year, which was his third year in the league.
Well, he had 7 seasons in Toronto where he averaged 23. He had 5 seasons in New Jersey where he averaged 23, almost 24.
Yeah.
And those were like his best. So that's 12 years of
23
the
problem
plus.
Is it's these last 6 or so years where his career average just plummeted because he finished his career averaging 16.7 points per game, which is nothing to sneeze at.
Oh, I have 16.7.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Oh, okay. I thought you said something different. Sorry.
16.7 points per game. So I mean, again, those are good numbers.
But that's all due to the last 12 years of his career.
Right. It was really, because it started to, so from like in 2008 to 2009, he averaged 20.8. And then from there, 16.6, 14, 15.1, 13.5, 10, 13, 11.9. And then it just dwindles. So that's really what hurt his average. If you had stopped him, if he had stopped around like, the 2000, say even after 2010 or 11, like he would have averaged over 20 points a game, and
scored 26,000 points.
And then maybe he would have been a Hall of Famer. I can't say he is right now. I think he would fall short, but man, oh man, he was an incredibly enjoyable player to watch. Very iconic, especially because of the dunks and the memories that he gave us in that, kind of in that facet. But he was a good player. He was a really good player. Was he a Hall of Famer? I don't think so, but
I don't think so either, but I do think he gets in. I think he's going to be fringe, but get in. Because, I mean, if you look at it, he's an 8-time All-Star, 2-time All-NBA. Yeah. He was 1998, 1999 All-Rookie and Rookie of the Year. Those are all things that are going to get taken into account. And he has almost 26,000 points scored. Yeah. Yeah. He was a career .435 shooter from the field.
Good.
He has a bunch of numbers there. Almost an 80% shooter from the free throw line.
Yep.
He has a bunch of numbers that are pretty darn good. And I think that when you take them all across the board, I think he's going to be fringe fall in.
Yeah.
I think he gets in. And then you take that with, the Olympics and the dunks and the dunk contests. And, those are iconic things that make a lasting impression as well. And I think that he will be a fringe guy, but I do think he gets in. I think so. I would not put him in just because I always think that you got to be one of the greatest players of your era. And like Mattingly, where I feel like there was a 5-year period where he was, if not the best, he was the top 3 player in the league. In both leagues, the National League and American League. That's how good he was. He was the best first baseman. Him and Keith Hernandez kind of were like the best first basemen.
They were.
But Don Mattingly was next level offensively, and people feared him. Whereas that's a problem. And it's not like he always had a ton of protection.
He was legitimately the best player in baseball for a 5-year span.
Yeah. He was. He had a ton of protection. He didn't have a great team.
He had the MVP award.
And then when he needed to come up because he made the playoffs, he came up and he performed. That's the kind of thing that you want to see from those elite players. Like when they get into crunch time and they get to that, can they step up? Yeah. Something that Barry Bonds had a very difficult time with until he took steroids. Right. Don Mattingly, on the other hand, finally got it at the end of his career.
And when he did, it was special.
Yeah.
It was special. Still one of the great calls, that home run, hang on to the roof.
Yep. Oh, I love that. That was part of our original Sports and Swords.
Yeah.
Hang on to the roof.
Goodbye, home run, Don Mattingly. It's such a great call. I forgot the guy who called that too. He was really good. But,
it's one of those things that I wouldn't personally vote him in. Luckily for him, I do not have a vote. So, but I do think he's going to end up getting in. He was good. He was a good player.
If his career had ended after 2011 or 12, I would say he definitely
even if you played it until like 2015, when he stopped scoring in double digits.
Here's the other thing, though, too. Should a guy get punished just because he kept playing because he wanted to?
Because he loves the game? I don't think
he should. No. Right, he loved the game. No. So, I mean...
you really got to stop his career at, 2014 when he stopped averaging double digits.
Yes, right.
Because then, I mean, what was it, minutes? Minutes played were 16 minutes a game.
It's tough. I might be with you. I don't know that I think he should get in, but he might. I could definitely see it happen.
Yeah, he was a 15, 16 minute guy after that.
I'd be perfectly fine with it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I'm starting to get
a sixth man at that point.
I'm starting to lose faith in Hall of Fames in general. If you see the guy, especially in baseball, you just start to see some of the guys who get in. It's just this is supposed to be the Hall of Fame.
Baseball, for the most part, is good. They do a pretty good job. They're I think the most elite. That's the hardest to get into.
I had a tough go of it with Harold Baines because I loved the Harold Baines player. Yeah. Loved him, but
not a Hall of Famer. It's not. And that was the 3,000 hit.
Because if he's a Hall of Famer, Don Mattingly is definitively a Hall of Famer.
Well, I mean, you got the comparison to Kirby Puckett. Kirby Puckett had a longer stretch, but he was never as good, in my opinion, never as good as Mattingly was when Mattingly was at his best.
And Kirby Puckett's a Hall of Famer.
And Kirby Puckett was a very good player.
He was a really good player. And who didn't love Kirby Puckett?
Smile. Yeah.
Oh, he was the joy of baseball.
For a while. All right. So now let's get into, we got the NBA, got the NFL. Let's get MLB. We haven't talked MLB in a long time, really.
Yeah, speaking of MLB.
So they are going to be starting at the end of July, 23rd, 24th, I believe it is.
Baby.
They're starting spring training basically in like a couple days.
July 1st, yeah.
Yeah. The day before my birthday. They're starting my 42nd birthday.
Wow. Well, for a month, we'll be the same age.
Yes. How's it been? How's 42 been?
It's fine. It's the same as 40 and 41,
40 was great for me. 41, not so good.
40 didn't bother me. 30 bothered me more than anything else.
No, but it's not like the number, but like it's just my physical body.
Oh, your physicals.
Yeah, like 41, I had like so many injuries.
Yeah.
Like elbow, knees, hip, stomach, back. Like this, it's just like one thing after another. Everything was breaking down.
I mean, it was bad for me in that sense, actually, because, I had all kinds of physical shit going on with me last year.
Yeah.
And,
maybe 41 is just that. Like 40, you're like, all right, yeah, I'm gonna get in good shape and do all this kind of stuff. Get like good, and then 41 comes and your body's like, we're not used to that.
I would say though that so for me, the first half of 42 sucked. The second half's been much better because I've lost a lot of weight and I've gotten myself back in shape, and so
But it does suck because of COVID.
Yes. Probably. I mean, and just a lot of people died this year. Not just COVID deaths, but from Kobe right on down. We even lost Joel Schumacher this past week. I mean, we've lost some seriously high-profile people this year.
Yeah.
It's a shit year, man.
Yeah, that happens a lot. I mean, you always. I don't want to get into the death.
As the calendar turns to July, we're only in July. I wonder what's on the calendar for July, because maybe is this the alien month? I mean, who knows? Who knows what we're getting this month?
I started trying to watch that Space Force show.
Yeah.
Speaking of aliens,
Boots
on the Moon.
I heard it's something good.
First episode, I was not impressed. I stopped it after that. Christine liked a couple of the little jabs here and there that they have, like the little subtle jabs between like authority and stuff like that. Like, and I was like, it's kind of funny, but like, I don't. We might watch one or two more episodes because just running out of stuff to watch.
It's Steve Carell show, right?
Yeah. And I was like, maybe give it one or two more episodes. Like the funniest part to me was the very ending of the first episode. Like that was funny. Other than that, I'm just kind of like, I don't know about that, but I'll give it 2 more episodes, as I do. I give things 3 episodes. I do want to talk about a couple movies that I watched at the end. Real brief. I had 4 movies that I watched over the last week and a half since our last show. But MLB, they're going to start the season at the end of July. They're going to have a 60-game season. Players are getting 37% of their salary, and they are going to have some new rules involved. National League gets the DH. All right.
I think that is one that's going to carry over.
I think that might stick. That one might stick. The other one is the extra innings. There's going to be a man who starts on second base. That is not going to be implemented in the playoffs, but it will be during the regular season to help move the games and make them quicker.
Yeah.
I get it. Okay. Whatever.
It's softball rules, whatever.
It's kind of stupid, but at the same time, I understand why you want to get the game over quicker.
Nothing about this year is normal, so if you could throw a few gimmicks in.
They did stuff like that in the NFL,
Whatever.
To try and speed things up. And
I don't really have a problem with it. I don't really have a problem with any of the stuff that they did. It's fine. Actually, the DH in the National League, I'm fully on board with because I think it just needs to happen anyway.
Offense sells. And if you add another bat in, it also adds another job. Yeah, it does. So, unfortunate for the hitters, the pitchers that like to hit like Mad Bum and stuff, but you know what? It might help their career. Help prolong it a little bit so they don't have to get hit. But so like that, was there any other big rules that changed? I think those were like the 2 big ones, right?
I think those were the big ones. Yeah, there was something else.
I don't think that the MLB, they might continue it throughout the regular season, but they'll never do it in the playoffs.
Hold on. I just got a text from our friend Tim Callahan that said that there were 9,000 new cases in Florida yesterday of COVID-19, which just destroys the previous day's record, which I think was a shade over 5,000.
Wow.
So they're like almost doubling. That is frightening. Florida, get it together.
It's tough when you got Florida, man, everywhere.
Well, the problem with Florida is it's a double whammy of stupidity because one, most of them are Trump lovers.
My mom and dad are moving down to Florida. Well, they're going to try to move down to Florida.
My parents already live there, and they're
My parents are trying to move down there at the middle to end of July.
Right.
So we'll see if they get out of the state and then get quarantined somewhere.
His stupidity is compounded by the fact that Governor Ron DeSantis is running that state, and he's just essentially a younger clone of Trump. And he could not care less about masks. He thinks this whole thing is I mean, holy crap. Listen, I'm sorry. At some point, the numbers just don't lie. 9,000 new cases. 9,000. 9 times. 9 times. 9 times. 9,000 cases.
Was that a niner?
9,
Did I hear a niner in there?
Did I catch a niner in there? Were you calling from a walkie-talkie? 9,000 cases, dude. In one day. I don't care how big of a state you are. That's obscene.
Yeah.
That is obscene. That's a really disturbing number. I mean,
it's not what you want.
I mean, in Connecticut's now again, that's not a great apples to apples comparison because Connecticut's a significantly smaller state compared to Florida. But Jesus, I don't think we ever had a day with 9,000 cases on our worst day, and we've had some bad days. I think there's been a total of 45,000 diagnosed cases in Connecticut. I know for a fact there was never a 9,000 day. 1,000
regardless,
was the worst.
It's not going away.
But it could be, because if you look at certain states like the tri-state area that we're in, our numbers are still going down. Yeah. Our hospitalizations are now down below 140.
I think that number is going to start spiking again, though.
It is. No, it is. It is, because phase 2 just started, and also you're going to have assholes coming in from other states, although the state is really going to try and prevent that as much as possible. But yes, no. We are going to see
quarantine.
We are going to see spikes. The question is, how big are they going to get? Are they going to get significant, or are they going to be manageable? Are we still going to be able to have decent hospital capacity? Because right now our hospital capacity is fine. You know, I live in a town that literally borders. I'm part of one county and it borders 2 other counties. So I'm almost part of like 3 different counties. In the 3 counties combined, there are a grand total of, I think, at yesterday's check, either 4 or 5 people hospitalized total in those 3 counties. There's capacity everywhere in Connecticut. We are in a good spot. Our numbers, I mean, we're still getting deaths, and we did actually spike back up into double-digit deaths yesterday, which sucked. The day before that, we had 3 people who passed away, and then it went up to 11 yesterday. But our hospitalizations keep going down every day. Is it ideal? Is it perfect? No. But we are getting better. Why can't other states, just wear a mask? God damn it. Yeah. Fucking Floridians. Holy shit. By the way, not coincidentally, our Karen of the week is a Floridian.
Not surprised. All right. So that's pretty much it from an MLB standpoint. Let's give our.
By the way, I have total doubts about Major League Baseball happening.
Yeah, so if you had to put
8 people in the Phillies camp on like day 1 got COVID-19, and I'm like, oh my god! And 5 of them were players. Charlie Blackmon got it from the Rockies.
Yeah.
I mean, look, and then we've all heard this conversation. I've had it with my brother. I've heard it on talk radio. What happens if and when? Whether it's a player, whether it's a coach, whether it's a manager, whether it's a whatever. What happens when somebody dies? The whole fucking thing's getting shut down.
Yeah, it could have happened even before then.
Yes,
like it's.
Right. Like we shouldn't actually have to get to it.
Because I think all it's going to take is one of the other sports that are already going.
Yeah, it's a domino effect, just like basketball. Like basketball started all of it.
Like there was big talks about the PGA, even only after having like a few people test positive, they were going to cancel the tournament.
Yeah,
and it's like. Jay Moynihan, I think that's what his name is, came down and he was like talking about, he basically said like, we need to follow the strict protocols. If you're not, we're just going to have to pull the plug.
Yeah. At some point we have to ask ourselves, as much as we all want sports back, first of all, the state of how it is going to come back is not going to be anything like you've ever seen before. You're talking about empty arenas, no fans, no interaction of any kind. Is this something that you need back so badly that you're willing to see, one, a diminished product, and two, way more importantly than a diminished product, are you okay with your favorite athletes getting sick, with their managers and coaches getting ill, with somebody dying? I mean, are you okay with that? I'm really not.
Yeah, I don't know.
I want baseball back so badly. I so desperately want to watch a Yankee game right now. I so desperately want to watch Garrett Cole take the mound, and even I don't care if it's in front of an empty stadium.
I've been watching golf like crazy because like it's the one thing that's on a lot, and it's nice. It's nice to see sports, and even if it's a sport like that.
I agree, but at what cost to everybody? I mean, it's just. And look, I'm of two minds of this though, because again, the selfish side of me wants to see sports, but then there's also the side for people who I know are suffering right now, not just in terms of the sickness, but people who are unemployed. And sports creates a lot of employment. There's a lot of jobs that come from sports. So there's a lot of people who are losing a ton of money this year, who are broke, and there's not enough help coming from the federal government. So, I mean, I shouldn't say that. I mean, at least the extra, unemployment is helpful. But there's been one stimulus, which was ridiculous. And the bottom line is people are hemorrhaging right now. And I feel bad because like a lot of people need to get back to work. Unfortunately, people that would work in stadiums, though, concessions and stuff like that, they're not coming back at all this year. Who knows when that'll happen? So I don't know. I'm of two minds of this. I really am. Like, I want to see sports selfishly because I want to see sports, but then I don't want people to get sick or, God forbid, die. And we've had enough. We've really had enough death, I think, at this point. 125,000 people gone. I think that's just America. Across the globe, we're at close to 500,000. So
you are not wrong.
I know Trump doesn't like facts and science and numbers, but sorry, those are the numbers. These are the facts of the case, and they are undisputed, to quote Kevin Bacon from A Few Good Men.
You can't handle the truth.
I love that movie. That's not even like the best quote there, like, you can't handle the truth. It's okay.
It's the most iconic.
It's like the overused one.
Yeah.
It's like in Jaws, you're going to need a bigger boat. It's a great quote. Don't get me wrong. It's great. It's fantastic.
It is fantastic.
It's probably not even the best quote in the movie, though.
Smile, you son of a... That's
actually my favorite, and that's the picture that I have right here above my head.
Yeah.
Always, that's my favorite part of the movie, but
it's a good one.
Yeah, I don't know.
I love seeing that in the theater with you.
What's that?
When we got to go see that in the theater.
But did we see Jaws?
Yeah.
We did. Okay.
We saw Jaws in the theater together.
Yeah, we did. That's right. You're right.
And there was like a Q&A thing that was there.
Oh, yes. That was great. Yes, it was. Yeah. That was good.
That was fun. Yeah. That was good.
It was. I do. Yes. Now that I'm surprised I forgot that.
Because
now I think about it, I think I remember having like a stupid shit grin on my face like throughout the whole thing, because thinking to myself, this is obviously something that I could have never seen because this movie came out 2 years before I was born. Yeah. So, and actually, it was great. This Father's Day was awesome because that weekend was the 45th anniversary of Jaws, and for one of my Father's Day gifts, they got me this, it's not part of my Funko Friday, but they got me a Funko Jaws box. And in the box was it was from Target. So it had a very specific Target shark. Mm-hmm. It was the shark, but the shark had blood around the mouth, which was not one of the ones I had before. And it came with a Jaws Funko Pop t-shirt.
Oh, nice.
So like, the shark and, Chrissy swimming look like Funko Pops. And it was great. I was like, oh my God, this is just like the best fucking gift ever. And it was great because it was that weekend. It was the day before that. The Saturday before that Father's Day was the 45th anniversary of Jaws.
That's awesome.
So I was like, man, I'm like, you guys timed this out perfectly. And they were like, yeah, we did that on purpose. Like, we had no idea. Who cares? You got it right.
Yeah. Take credit. So anyway, that's great.
We do have some Funko Friday, though.
Yeah, we do.
And we've got the carrot of the week still.
Mm-hmm. We can get into... I do want to talk about Bubba Wallace real quick, though.
Yeah.
Because that whole situation... And this is going to be more speculative than anything else. Because, it seems like there's just a lot of, like, back and forth and this and that. And they're not really given much... not enough, I guess. We're never going to actually know the exact thing that happened. Because it seemed like it happened a long time ago. But it's very weird how it ended up in a... the only black person basically in the NASCAR ended up in his,
Garage.
section, in his garage. It ended up there. The one that
noose.
happened
And
to
now
be tied like a
You've
noose.
seen the picture, right? Everyone's seen the picture.
And
it's a noose.
Noose. Yeah,
It's a
100%.
noose.
I don't care how long ago it was put there or what, and who put, Bubba Wallace in that garage. I don't know.
Yeah.
But overall, the thing I do know is that there's some kind of foul play there, and it is not acceptable. And I think they need to figure out what happened. And
It's already not gonna.
but NASCAR needs to do a better job, and they need to figure out what happened.
Well, they just wanted to sweep this. The NASCAR feels like they.
That's
did
what I mean. Like, if there was
got.
ever a sport that needs to get their act together with this stuff.
Well, obviously, NASCAR has been patting itself on the back the last few days, though, because they got rid of Confederate flags. People wearing Confederate flags,
yes, and all the drivers came around and supported Bubba Wallace and stuff like that.
Right.
The drivers are super wealthy and have probably a smart team around them. So even if they weren't in belief of, they even if they were racist, their team probably were like, you need to go out and do this.
Yeah.
So
it's a bad optic if you don't. So could you please get out there and push him to the?
But the other guys that are behind the scenes, I don't know. So I mean, it's what all I'm saying is, get your act together, take action, don't sweep it under the rug. That never works well.
No. Unless you're the NFL, that seems to work fine for them. But
well, not really.
Not racism though. I mean, anything. Well, I mean, the NFL gets away with the white lies for the most part, but this is a big thing for NASCAR. This is very, very big. I mean, this cuts to the heart of their entire makeup and their background and their history. It's their foundation. I hate to say it. I mean, let's be honest. We kind of know who the primary audience is for NASCAR. It's not something I've ever really watched. I'm not the demographic that they're looking for. I mean, my skin color is the demographic they're looking for, but other than that, not really. It's not very appealing to me.
Yeah.
I don't think turning left is a sport. I think turning left is common sense. So, to me, it's just not a big deal. Now, don't get me wrong.
I don't know.
What they do is really incredible.
Yeah, it's tough.
It's dangerous.
Stamina, dangerous.
Sure. There's a lot involved there.
I think it's I think it's a sport. It's not a sport that interests me. That's what a lot of people say about golf. And I'm fine with that too.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Whatever. I mean, that's okay. I mean, I don't love soccer. Soccer's the most popular sport on the globe.
You like wrestling.
Love wrestling. Not a sport. That's just pure entertainment.
All right.
I just But let's be honest. NASCAR has a very long history of this. I mean, again, the Confederate flags, those things were flown constantly at NASCAR events. Constantly.
Yeah.
I mean, all you would ever have to do is flip on Daytona 500 once a year, and it's a sea of, Confederate flags out there.
Yeah.
Especially the tailgating and the parking lots and all that stuff. And now they're going to – here's the question I have. You going to have some guy – come in with a tank top on, he's got his Confederate flag tattooed on his arm. What about that? You throwing that guy out, or you say that, well, we can't really throw him out because it's kind of part of his skin. So what do we,
Might make him cover it. I don't know.
Maybe they'll make him cover it. Yeah, they maybe duct tape over it or some shit like that. I don't know what the fuck they'll do. But bottom line is that's a sport that desperately needs to clean itself up. And listen, as far as Bubba Wallace goes, that was a noose. That was definitely an act of racism. Mm-hmm. I don't care what the FBI said. I don't care what NASCAR said. I don't care that they're trying to sweep this under the rug. That was clearly intentional. First of all, I've been in certain garages, right, where you see ropes that are tied like that. Usually they're tied in a knot at the end, not a fucking noose.
Yeah.
Why would you need a noose to be tied there? Why wouldn't you just tie a knot? You grab the knot, you pull it down, the door closes. What do you need a noose for? Oh, I'm sorry. Again, I put a tweet out there that said, look, if you're buying this, I've got DM me because I've got some magical beans to sell you. Yeah. If you're buying into this shit, because I'm sorry, there's no way. I'm sorry if I need to bet my life on that, I'm betting my life that was an act of racism and that was intentional.
Yeah.
There's no two ways about it.
I don't know. I don't care what. Like I said, I don't care when it happened, but something happened.
Yeah.
And I don't care if it was a 6-month plan or I'm going to put this here. And then somebody else was like, and we're going to put Bubba Wallace in there.
Once I saw the picture, I was like, come on.
Yeah. It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. Like the people, get your act together. That's all I got.
It was like it was
Get
that I think
your
I even used it, but it was like that
together.
Justin Timberlake gif from Saturday Night Live where he's just like
Yeah.
the camera's like zooming in on him.
Mhm.
Come on, really? Come on, we know.
And I will say, I mean, Bubba Wallace has done a great job. You know,
Nice.
fielding all these questions and
Yes, he's handled everything well.
Been very positive and all about love and, you know, fighting it with love instead of hate and all that kind of stuff. Like he's just been very, very good about all of that. And I couldn't applaud him more. Because I mean, there's a lot of people on, you know, any race that would be ticked off. And you can see it on a lot of sportscasters.
I feel like
white,
the FBI
black, whatever they are, they kind of lose it a little bit and, you know, get a little angry, as, you know, you probably should. But the people that can keep their act, keep their cool, and try and do it with on a love side instead of a hate side is great.
I hate to say this, but I think NASCAR and the FBI were trying to make this a Jesse Smollett thing, and it's not.
Oh, it seemed like it was. Yeah, it seems like what they were trying to do.
Sorry, it's not.
No.
I mean, you know, here we have a little bit of burden of proof with that picture of that noose hanging there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, you know, I mean, there was burden of proof with just Jesse Smollett too, but I mean, this is
bad. Different. This is a lot different. Yeah. All right. So now let's get into Karen of the week.
Karen of the week. Okay.
Let's see what your Karen of the week is. I'm interested to hear about this.
No shocker here. In front of the Palm Beach County Commissioners meeting, there was a Karen of the week by the name of Christina Gomez, who went in front of the Palm Beach County Commissioners and went on this Karen rant about masks. Here's what she said. Now, if you've seen you've probably all seen the video. Again, her name is Christina Gomez. I'm assuming she's from Palm Beach County. So here's what she said. And then keep in mind, she's screaming this. She's like pointing fingers. This is like Rafael Palmeiro in front of Congress pointing fingers. So she says, you literally cannot mandate somebody to wear a mask, knowing that mask is killing people. It literally is killing people. Every single one of you that are obeying the devil's law, and you, doctor, because there was a doctor in there, are going to be arrested for crimes against humanity. This is insane. And then she cited conspiracy theories like around Bill Gates, Hillary Clinton, and the deep state, and then something called Pizzagate. I don't know what that was all about, but she went bonkers in front of it. She essentially went in front of this commissioner, this group of commissioners, and said that masks are like the devil's work. Like this is the work of the fucking devil.
Smart.
Yeah, and then there was another woman who kind of jumped on the same thing and said that, you know, that wearing masks was an affront to God. Wow. There was another woman too that apparently said, this is not a joke, that forcing someone to wear a mask is like forcing someone to wear underwear. Like you have to let that shit breathe. And she was not an attractive woman, so I had this horrible visual in my head of just like roast beef. And I was
okay, so that's the Karen of the week.
Christina Gomez.
Yeah.
Our Karen of the week. Do we have like a round of applause for her or some shit? I don't know. You got a little something you can.
Sure.
It should be like a single clap. It should be like the
a slow clap or something.
Yeah, the slow clap. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have one of those?
I don't.
Maybe we should get one of those.
I'm sure I do actually. I'm gonna say slow clap.
You have slow clap. Oh, a slow clap would be great, because that's about all she deserves. Yeah, there you go.
There you go. So I want to kind of dive back real quick. I want to kind of go backwards because this is something I wanted to talk about before and I forgot to mention it. You know, because that was all about COVID-19 and everything like that. And there's a guy who you and I both kind of didn't really like on the PGA Tour for a while, because he just hadn't done enough. And on top of that, he also said some controversial things from time to time. That's Brooks Koepka. He is a guy that I have grown to really like. I think that I actually saw his winning. I think I like the way that he plays. I like the way he attacks the course.
This is a tremendous 180 because I recall from years.
Disdain.
Not Leas.
Oh yeah. And but the more because I started watching him more and focusing on him more, but then I kind of realized, you know what? I kind of like his take on it. I like his take on golf, and I like his take on, and he's very honest about it, and he doesn't kind of pull punches, and I think that's good. I think it's something that golf needs right now, which is
this is shocking to me.
So. And it's kind of slowly happened over the course of time. I went from not being a fan to I guess appreciating his talent, but not really caring for it. But not now at the point I like him. I actually like him.
You're like Rocky at the end of Rocky 4 when he's like, if you can change, I can change. We all can change. I mean, yeah, this is impressive.
So
it's good. It's you're growing as a person, developing.
Yeah, I try to, even in my older age. So there was a thing that came out recently because his brother recently qualified for the Travelers Championship.
There's another Koepka?
Oh yeah, his brother qualified. And on his qualifying round, Brooks came in and saw him and was like, taking pictures and stuff with him and everything like that. Like as he's walking down the fairway. So anyway,
there is another.
Yeah. But I think he might be an older brother. I don't think he's not as good. He's not as good as Brooks.
Is he like the Cooper Manning that nobody really knows about?
Probably, yeah. Because he qualified for the tournament. He didn't like. It's not like he's on the tour, Okay. But that's a huge deal.
Cooper Koepka?
That's a huge deal. I think he shot 5 under.
Please say his name is Cooper. Cooper Koepka.
I don't know.
Because that's
I can't remember. It might be like Bruce or something. I don't remember. But anyway,
Bruce and Brooks.
I don't know, something like that. I don't know. I can't remember. I can't remember. But anyway, so this is something that because he got his caddy tested positive. Brooks Koepka's caddy tested positive for COVID, and he pulled himself out of the Travelers Championship. And this is what he said. He said, I haven't tested positive for COVID-19, but as I have said all along, I'm taking this very seriously. I don't want to do anything that might jeopardize the health of any player in this field or his ability to compete. Koepka said in a statement, the right thing to do right now is get home, support Ricky, his caddy, and feel confident that I'm doing what I can to protect my fellow tour members, my PGA Tour friends, and everyone associated with the Travelers Championship this week. Ricky and Simpson, Webb Simpson also had a similar sentiment because he had to pull out as well because one of his family members tested positive. And he said, while all my tests were negative. And he said, while all my tests were negative, I feel like it's my responsibility to take care of my family and protect my peers in the field. Withdrawing from the Travelers Championship, said I'm going to return home to Charlotte and quarantine under CDC guidelines, and I look forward to returning competition after that time period. And there's a bunch of others like Graham McDowell. He pulled himself out because his caddy tested positive. So there's a lot of things that came out.
Webb Simpson's like, all right, I won a tournament. I got some money. I'm out.
Yeah, I'm out for a little while. I'm going to go back and take a two-week vacation.
Why not?
But it's one of those that's this is the kind of the reaction that you want, that you expect. You don't want I just pulled up an article and it said right here. Now, granted, this is a headline. Tom Brady keeps practicing with the Bucs teammates. Despite COVID-19, only thing we have to fear is fear itself. That's
is he really quoting Churchill?
I guess.
Or is he quoting Trump?
Let me see here.
We know he's a Trumper, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
So,
yeah.
This is not shocking at all. Not even remotely.
Brady is using that phrase in stark contrast, Brady is using that phrase to brush off fears about COVID-19 and imply that being afraid of the coronavirus is the real problem. No, dying is the real problem.
No, I think the coronavirus is the real problem, not the fear of it, the actual thing itself. I mean, fear of it's bad.
Brady's record on science is iffy.
I would say so. I would think if you're a real big Trump supporter that your record of science is in question, period. So,
that's funny. Yeah. So, I mean, whatever. I know he's a Trump guy. I know that, doesn't always have the best track record, but I mean,
Tom Brady doesn't have a good track record of anything.
I know. There's just
it's a lot of material there.
A lot of stupidity going Well, I mean, a bunch of people in his camp got tested and tested
Dum
positive.
dum
So,
dum dum dum.
yeah, keep practicing. All right, so I just wanted to kind of go like that's those guys, Brooks, Webb, Graham, all those guys that are kind of like pulling themselves out of tournaments and stuff like that because anybody around them has it.
Good
Smart
for them.
move.
They're responsible.
Smart move.
Yeah.
And I think Webb Simpson and Brooks Koepka are both like in the 4th and 5th ranked players in the world or something like that. Like, I mean, I don't know
really
if Webb is, but like, granted, they're good players, and I think it's smart. I think it's very smart to do that. All right, so now let's get into your Funko Pop. Unless you want to get my movies real quick.
Oh yeah, sure. Go ahead.
All right, I'll do the movies real quick.
We'll do Funko on the way out.
So the movies for me, and I'm going to start. I know we used to do like a Cinnable rating, like a 1 through 10. I'm not doing that anymore.
Oh,
I'm going. This is like buy, rent, kind of deal.
Oh,
like,
is this like a marry, fuck, kill?
Kind of, yeah, but it's more like not really. I'm not going to do that, but it's going to be like what I think you should do with these movies. Like this is my opinion on what you should do with these movies. So
you may have just come up with a fantastic game, by the way. Though.
Yeah,
But
so,
instead of like F, marry, kill, it could be like buy, rent, trash or something.
Yeah,
Just don't wash or whatever.
Yeah.
I
like
pass, buy, rent, pass. Or
so
something.
maybe we can do some 3 movie things and put those out there. Like we used to do something like we used to do that. We used to do the FMK on Cinebros. We would do. It was like you get to watch this movie for the rest of your life. You get to watch this movie once, and this one you have to destroy. Yeah. And
I remember that.
Yep. So we used to do that. Yeah. So that was
this is a variation of that.
Well, not really. I mean, this is just going to be me commenting on each movie, what you should do with it. So
sure.
The 4 things that I watched were Bad Boys for Life, Knives Out, Spies in Disguise, and Sonic the Hedgehog. So those are the 4 movies that I watched.
I think I've only seen 2 of those. I've seen Sonic and Knives Out. I don't think I've seen Spies in Disguise. I know I haven't seen Bad Boys for Life. What's Spies in Disguise?
It's Will Smith as where he gets turned into a pigeon.
Yeah, I own it. I have not actually watched it yet.
So Bad Boys for Life. Mm-hmm. Now it's a fun movie, but I think it's worth the rent. It's not for me. Bad Boys 2 will always be the best one in that franchise. I love Bad Boys 2. I feel like it was the ultimate concoction of, just the dialogue back and forth between Will and Martin Lawrence. The chase scenes that were just completely over the top, just the amount of fun that was had in that movie and the back and forth dialogue that they had was just perfect. The scenes that movie for me is a buy. I could see why people would want to buy the first one. It's good, but in a different way. The third one I feel is just a rent. It's fun. It's good to see them back. The dialogue is good, not as good as it used to be, but it's still good. And there are a couple of fun moments in it.
Did it have like a Lethal Weapon 4 kind of feel where they're like clearly older and it's,
Martin Lawrence is clearly older.
Little fatter, a little older.
But even Will Smith, like he's not like cut jacked. He's a little, but it's good. It's good. You can tell that they're older, and they address that quite a bit.
Will Smith was like so cut and jacked in Suicide Squad. Do you remember?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Even in Bad Boys 2, he's pretty ripped.
He got in unreal shape for that movie.
So Knives Out is a movie that I purchased right away because it's such good reviews. I've heard nothing but good things about it. And I I really enjoyed the movie.
I believe that was the best movie of last year.
I think it was an incredible movie. I think Daniel Craig's performance was amazing.
Oh, there'll been a murder here.
Yeah,
he's got like that whole foghorn leghorn kind of Colonel Sanders thing going on.
It's fantastic.
I could not believe how well he pulled that off.
Everybody did a great job in that, but I wish I didn't buy it.
Really?
I do not think that movie, as great as I think it was, I think
I've already watched it. I've watched it 3 times.
Now that I've seen it once, I never need to see that movie ever again.
I've watched it 3 times.
There wasn't like the explanation, like the big reveal and all that kind of stuff that played through. It just didn't do it for me as much as the characters. Like I loved the way the characters acted in the film. That was fun. But for me, there's like movies like Clue.
Clue's just unreal.
That is iconic, and there's iconic scenes, and there's just hilarity and stuff that you can watch again and again and again. Whereas this, was funny. It was fun. It was clever, but not into the point where, like, it didn't even have like the reveal like you did in the movie with Kevin Spacey.
Oh, well, which one? Usual Suspects?
Usual Suspects.
Or
I always want to call it Unusual Suspects. It's Usual Suspects.
7.
Yeah. No, that one too. But like
what's in the box?
The real reveal, like in Usual Suspects, like that is one of those things that it kind of, now that you know it, it's ruined, but there's so much good stuff involved in that and things that you can pick up on as it goes, as the story's being told. This one doesn't have that as much for me. So as much as I enjoyed it and I did like it, I just don't really feel like I need to visit it again. So unless you can get it for like $8 or something like that, like for almost the cost of a rental, don't do it. Because I think it's a rental for sure. But
I'll just disagree with you on that one. I would say Knives Out is an unbelievable buy, and I think I got it on like 4K when it was like $10 or something.
I just didn't have a huge. It wasn't a ton of fun for me. Like,
I've watched it 3 times. I think it was the best movie of the year last year.
It was a great movie. Great movie. But
also very rare when you can get an ensemble cast like that where it actually works and gels well. This one did.
Yeah.
It really did. That does not happen all the time.
But there's not a lot of, for me, there wasn't a lot of lines that I was like, oh, that's cool. That's amazing. Like, but it was good. Like the actors did a good job.
I'm with you on that. Not a ton of memorable lines, but I just thought it was a really well done movie. But the other movie that's kind of in the Clue, category, and in the Knives Out category is Ready or Not. Have you seen that one? Because that's got a little bit of a unexpected twist at the end.
Oh, does it?
Ready or Not, yeah, and it's kind of in that.
Who's in that? Do you remember? I'll just write it down.
From a cast perspective, it's actually because the main star, she reminds me of Margot Robbie, but it's not Margot Robbie. But then Andy McDowell is in it.
Margot Robbie and I have the same birthday.
Who else is in it? It doesn't have anywhere near the cast of like Knives Out. Yeah. But it's
I'll check
fun
it out.
though.
I'll check it out.
It's fun. No, I think you might like it.
Okay.
I think you might like it.
So Sonic the Hedgehog is another movie I watched. I watched that with the kids.
I own that, and I own it because I have kids.
Yeah. So
I would give that a rent grade.
I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was entertaining. It's funny. It wasn't great, but like I think my kids liked it a lot more because Jim Carrey was Jim Carrey. And it was a fun movie. I didn't buy it, and I'm glad I didn't buy it because it was fun, and my kids liked it. But I think my kids are looking forward to the second one, not necessarily to rewatch this one.
Yeah, JC did a really good job as Robotnik. He was really good. He had some good zingers in there too.
Oh yeah,
it was a little like
it was good.
The zingers were actually like a little more harsh than I would have expected for a kids movie. I mean, they weren't like bad, dirty, but they were good. They were good. They were kind of hard hitting.
It was, by the way, for the adults a little bit.
Like this movie is, and I like James Marsden. My wife loves James Marsden because he's good looking. But this is like a sweet spot for James Marsden where he does these movies where he interacts with green screens. Because he did this in the movie Hop too, and he actually did it really well. I like
find your niche and kill it.
He's good. I like James Marsden. I mean, Jim Carrey's Jim Carrey, but James Marsden is good. He's a talented guy. I like him.
Yeah,
he's likable.
Yes, I agree. It's too bad that they treated him the way they did in the X-Men movies. Didn't really give him his due.
And I will say this: do you remember when coronavirus first started, and Gal Gadot and a bunch of other celebrities made that really stupid video where they were singing?
Yeah.
If you go back and watch that, James Marsden was in it. He was the only guy that actually sang well and sounded like he could have actually been a real singer. The rest of them sounded like idiots. James Marsden actually was the only guy who came out of that looking like roses. The rest of them looked like clowns, even Wonder Woman.
All right. So, and then the last one was Spies in Disguise. And that's a movie that I
still haven't watched it yet. So,
well, yeah, I purchased it right off the gate. So. It was like cheap. It might have been like $7.99 or something like that. And I was like, I gotta buy that because
that's what I got it for.
It's like if my kids even like this a little bit, they're gonna watch it more than once, and that's
right.
Worth
that's
the
worth the $7.99.
So,
do you get yours on Vudu? Where do you buy yours?
Vudu.
Yeah. Okay. Me too.
We have that. We do the same. We end up buying a lot of the same movies because of that. Their weekly specials and stuff. So this is a movie
I'm on Vudu at least twice a day.
was a lot more fun than I expected. I was actually surprised. It was.
It has a good Rotten Tomatoes score.
It's absolutely worth the
75.
rental. But I do think it's 100% worth the purchase at the right price. You can get it for about $10. And you have
10 or
kids,
less.
you're gonna get it because my kids laughed more at this movie.
Yeah.
And it was fun. It was fun. And I think Will Smith did a good job in the movie as well. And I think for my kids, I asked my kids if they liked it, and they really liked it a lot. And my daughter, who was quieter during Sonic, she was more vocal and like having fun because of like, there's pigeons and stuff in it, and it was kind of like the Secret Life of Pets kind of, vibe without most of the animals talking. So I was very pleased, and I'm glad that I made that purchase as I did. So I have,
that's good to know. I haven't watched
Bad Boys for Life. I say rent. Knives Out. I say rent. Brian Man says buy. Spies in Disguise. I say buy at the right price.
I would say buy, even though I haven't watched, just because I got it for $7.99 like
buy,
you did. So.
Yeah, if you can get it for $10 or less, definitely buy it, because if you have kids, I'm gonna watch it more than once. Sonic the Hedgehog. That's another one. Like, if you can buy it cheap, yeah, go ahead. But as much as I'm kind of looking forward to another one of those, because I'm interested to see how it goes, I think that they could do a better job going forward now that they figured out how to attack these characters.
Yep.
I don't really feel like the need to revisit the first one again.
Yeah.
And if it gets on like a streaming site or something like that, yeah, maybe watch it. But yeah, it's good. So there's the things. And I'm almost done with Schitt's Creek too. I have 2 episodes left. We're gonna finish those tonight. So.
I have to get caught up. I'm way behind.
Oh, so good.
Do you want me to? All right. So we wrap up here with the outro with Funko Friday.
Sure.
Well, it's been a couple of Fridays since we've done a show. It's been quite a few Fridays since we've done a show. So I actually have a couple here to share.
All right. Let me put on the slow jam here for you.
Okay. All right. Hold on. So, number 1, Bluto from Animal House with college sweatshirt on.
I just purchased Animal House on Voodoo.
Yeah,
I didn't have it. I used to have it on
still
DVD.
My favorite comedy. This is my favorite comedy of all time.
I used to have it on DVD, and I just recently purchased it because it was that 2-for-1, that $9.99 dad's sale on Voodoo.
Yep.
I got that. I bought like that. Bumblebee. There was a few. I bought 4 different movies from on that, and it was like scored $4.50, $5 a piece. That's great.
Yeah, no, it's good. Yes, when you can get those 2 for $9.99, it's good. So Bluto, Mr. Blutarski,
nice.
There are a couple. There's Toga Bluto, which I don't have yet, but I'll probably get. And then there's college sweatshirt Bluto with the plaid shorts.
Toga Bluto he's the iconic.
Which I love, because this is. I mean, I would say one of my favorite scenes from Animal House is when the scene where he actually has this sweatshirt on, and they're tearing apart the Delta House, and he's like, they took the whole fucking bar, and then Otter throws him a bottle of Jack Daniels.
Yeah.
Tremendous scene, tremendous movie, of course. Still my favorite comedy of all time, and an unbelievably quotable movie. And then from another movie I like, and I really like this Funko Pop because the details of it are tremendous. All right, are you a fan of the movie Tombstone?
Oh yes,
great movie. And if you love Tombstone, you love Val Kilmer's
I'm your Huckleberry.
Doc Holliday.
I'm your Huckleberry.
Yeah, right.
Move it over a little bit to the
my left.
Right there. Yeah, over in front of the microphone.
Oh, this way.
Okay. A little bright, but yeah, there you go. Perfect. It's good.
Well, what's great about it is if you look at the detail of his face, like he even looks washed out and like with the red eyes, just like he did, because he was all drugged up and a total fucking mess in Tombstone. It's such a great Funko Pop, and there's a better look at it right there.
I'm your Huckleberry.
Yeah, it's such. I mean, this is just such a great movie.
There's a lot of good actors.
Kurt Russell was a great Wyatt Earp.
There were a lot of good actors.
Sam Elliott was Virgil Earp, right? Who played Morgan? I can't remember who the guy who played Morgan Earp, but
he was good too.
They were all good.
But for me, Val Kilmer stole that movie.
Oh, he completely stole it. This is such. I was so excited to be able to get this pop.
Val Kilmer kind of has like that Don Mattingly career. There was a period of like a 5-year span where he was knocking out movie after movie after movie.
Val Kilmer is in one of my favorite guilty pleasure movies, and that's The Saint.
That's a good movie. I think it's fun.
I love The Saint, and that's a movie I can watch all the time. I can watch that movie constantly. Listen, I'm a big Val Kilmer fan, and you know what? And interesting, because we talked about Joel Schumacher passing away, and obviously, Joel Schumacher, by the way, had an unbelievable, storied career. My favorite movie of his is A Time to Kill. There's just Matthew McConaughey, Samuel L. Jackson, just an unbelievable. Sandra Bullock, Ashley Judd, unbelievably great movie. And he's been ridiculed obviously a lot for the Batman movies, Batman Forever and Batman and Robin, which were terrible. They were not, but I will tell you
nipples.
Yeah, Bat Nips was not great.
Michael Keaton.
Yes, is ironically
possibly he's in talks. He's in talks.
Well, what was funny is because I believe there was a quote from the past that said Michael Keaton would never play Batman again as long as Joel Schumacher was alive. And then on that day he died, it was announced that he would probably be in the Flash movie and then would be in other DC movies as probably a multiverse Bruce Wayne
Weird.
He
could be Thomas Wayne. That's the thing, is that if it's a Flashpoint thing, he could be Thomas Wayne. He could also be a Bruce Wayne that's old and doing Batman Beyond. We don't know. So which of course I was excited about, because as far as I'm concerned, I saw a great tweet. I saw a great tweet over the weekend that said, "Who's the best Batman?" And it was like a multiple choice thing, and choices A through D were all Michael Keaton. Mm-hmm. And I was like, "Oh yes, this looks like a tweet that I would have put out." Yeah.
Because it was perfect. But what was I saying?
Val Kilmer.
Well, Val Kilmer was not he was not a horrible Batman. He really wasn't. Clooney was just bad all around. Just
totally campy.
Really, really bad. Kilmer's wasn't terrible. I didn't hate it. I mean, again, for me, it's Michael Keaton, and then it's not even close after that. I suppose Christian Bale would be my next second one, but I mean, again, not even close. Yeah, that's what it was. The tweet was like, "What's your Mount Rushmores of Batman?" And it was Michael Keaton, Michael Keaton, Michael Keaton, and Michael Keaton. I was like, yes, that is totally a me. That's a me quote right there. And I mean, don't get me wrong. Bale was good. Bale just got a little too heavy into the Dark Knight side of it, I thought, especially towards especially in the last movie. But even Dark Knight a little bit just was it was a little too much. But I never hated Kilmer as Batman. I really didn't. I didn't.
So let me just run down real quick.
If there were a Mount Rushmore of Batman, I would not put Val Kilmer on it, but I didn't hate him though.
No. So he started off with Top Secret, classic. That's a classic comedy.
Top Gun.
Then a year later, or no, 2 years later, Top Gun. Then he had
Iceman is one of the great chauvinist asshole characters in movie history.
You have Willow.
Yes.
The Doors.
He was Mad Mardigan, right?
Yeah, The Doors. You have Tombstone.
He actually was good in The Doors. He played a good Jim Morrison.
Tombstone.
Probably his best role period, Doc Holliday.
Then in Heat. The Island of Dr. Moreau, whether you like that or not. Ghost in the Darkness.
Oh, of course.
The Saint.
A lot of movies I love. Ghost in the Darkness and The Saint.
Let's see. What other one that I really like in here? Oh, he was amazing in MacGruber.
I was just going to say MacGruber. He was cunt.
Yeah. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. He was good in that.
I don't remember that. But yes, I know.
That's a movie that you should watch if you haven't.
It's just been a long time.
Kiss Kiss Bang Bang was him and Robbie Downey Jr.
I actually remember kind of liking him in the movie. Do you remember the movie At First Sight, where he's blind, then he gets gains his vision, but then he loses it again? Mm-hmm. It's kind of depressing, but
and then he just kind of fell off, and then he was out, and he just didn't do anything. He hasn't done anything good in a long time.
He was great. He was great in MacGruber, though.
He's amazing,
dude, man. He's
I mean, he's gonna be back in Top Gun. He's gonna be in the next Top Gun movie.
I'm very interested to see how he looks. Because it's I feel bad for him, because let's be honest, when Top Gun first came out, and he and Tom Cruise both look like they came out of male modeling catalogs. And now Tom Cruise still looks like he comes out of a male modeling catalog, and Val Kilmer does not.
Not so much.
The years have not been so kind.
Not so much.
Like, can you imagine, like, when they first came together in the studio and saw each other in probably years, and Val Kilmer was like, well, you've obviously aged well. At least one of us aged well.
Yeah.
'Cause
Scientology, huh?
Oh, man.
So,
Man, that Scientology shit works.
So let's just look at this from 1984, and we'll go up to like the year. I don't know. Let's see. We'll go to Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Sure.
Which 1984 to 2004. Okay. Yeah. Hits in here. So I think Top Secret, Top Gun.
Yeah.
You could put Willow. I'm not going to put Willow in there, but The Doors. I thought he was great in. True Romance, that was pretty good. But Tombstone.
Tombstone. I think that's the best role.
Heat. Ghost in the Darkness. I'll put The Saint in there because I thought it was good.
Oh, I love The Saint.
So that's 7.
My second favorite role is.
That's 7. And then we have any more coming up? I'm sure he was good in Entourage as the Sherpa. That sounds hilarious. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Wait a minute.
So that's 8 very good to great movies. And that's not I haven't seen everything he's been in.
Yeah.
So like
name me some others and I'll tell you if I recall it in them. Obviously I brought up At First Sight.
So there's
sad movie kind of, but it was good.
We'll go after 88. So Willow, Billy the Kid, TV movie, Kill Me Again, The Doors, Thunderheart, True Romance, The Real McCoy, Tombstone's Wings of Courage, Batman Forever, Heat, The Island of Dr. Moreau, Dead Girl, Ghost in the Darkness, The Saint, The Prince of Egypt. He was the voice in Prince.
He's the voice of
Moses.
He's the voice of Moses in that. Yeah, and I love that movie.
At First Sight, that one.
Yep.
I don't remember it, so I can't. Joe the King, Pollock, Red Planet deleted, the Salton Sea, Hard Cash, Masked and Anonymous, Wonderland, John Holmes movie. I don't know if that was any good. I never saw it.
Quite a filmography.
The Missing, Blind Horizon, Spartan, Stateside, Mindhunters, George and the Dragon, Entourage, Alexander, he played Philip, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, 10th Wolf played Moscow Zero, Summer Love, Deja Vu, The Ten Commandments, the musical, Numbers, he was on that TV show, West Texas Children's Story, Conspiracy, Delgo. See, a lot of these, like, I've never even heard of. The Love Guru. These sound
like a lot of B movies.
He was in The Love Guru? I don't remember that.
Well, is that the one with Mike Myers?
Yeah.
What was he, the Guru Pitka, right? Something like that?
I guess. Knight Rider, he played Kit.
Wait,
on the TV
what?
show. On the TV show, Kit. He
was
the
the
2008, 2009.
Oh,
the reboot.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay. That's funny.
Streets of Blood, America's Gossip, The Saw, Bad Lieutenant, Portaloo. That was terrible. Worst movie I've ever seen in my life.
Which one?
Bad Lieutenant. But it wasn't because of him.
Appropriately titled then.
Nicolas Cage was the reason why I hated that movie.
Right. Yeah. That's right. Now, I knew I recognized that.
Hardwired, Doubled Identity, Bloodworth, MacGruber. The Traveler, Gun, Kill the Irish, 5 Days of War, Blood Out, Twixt, Spider-Man, Edge of Time video game, Saturday Night Live, Brilliant Lunatic, sounds right, Deep in the Heart, Wyatt Earp's Revenge, Seven Below, The Fourth Dimension, Breathless, Riddle, Standing Up, Planes, he voiced Bravo in Planes.
Okay. What the hell is Wyatt Earp's Revenge?
I don't know. It's a video.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what it means.
This is a full-on biography here.
Yeah. Robot Chicken, Tom Sawyer and Huckle Finn, where he played Mark Twain. Song to Song, Snowman, The Super, Firstborn, Cinema Twain, Jay and Silent Bomb reboot. Soldier, Pay Dirt. Now he's got a couple that are completed or in post-production, which is Pay Dirt, Top Gun, Maverick, the Birthday Cake, Riptide, and Mark Twain, and Mary Baker Eddy.
Okay. I'm glad he's still active.
Yeah.
I just can't wait to see what he looks like in Top Gun. I hope they put a lot of makeup on and sunglasses. He's gonna need those aviator pilot glasses for sure.
Well, I'm gonna just type in Val Kilmer and see what happens.
See
what comes up.
just type it in and see what comes up.
I'm just gonna see what happens. Just gonna see what happens here, and then we'll close out. Actually, while I'm doing this, I'm one of your hosts. Thank you for watching. My name's Shane Moore. You can find me on Twitter at @EinhornerSfinkel. Find me on Instagram at Happy McAvoy.
Well, you can find me on Twitter at _Bry_man.
And show at so the show on Facebook is at Shane and the Bryman. The show on Twitter is at Shane and Bryman.
Now you remember this photo
Shane
that came out
and-
like a couple of months ago,
Shane-
right? Of Val Kilmer, where he was being especially compared to Vigo the Carpathian from Ghostbusters 2. Vigo the Destroyer.
Oh.
Yeah, that was a big. I want to see what he looks like. Val Kilmer, Top Gun, Maverick. Let's see if there's any pictures.
Oh my God.
Does it look god awful?
He does not look good.
I see this.
So how old is he?
So I see this picture of him. This looks like it's from. This looks like. Looks like he took a selfie of himself here in the. Yeah, boy, does he look old? Jesus Christ! At least he looks like a little bit more like Iceman, but that. Oh, this picture's bouncing all over the place.
Well, he looks his age for sure.
He does. See, this is disturbing. It's really tough. It's hard to compare him to Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise has just aged tremendously. It's not even fair.
Tom Cruise is 2 years younger.
It's fucking ridiculous.
Oh my God.
Tom Cruise still. It's just ridiculous. How that guy has fucking aged is unreal. If you don't believe in aliens or some shit like that, you're right in mind, because Tom Cruise is just not. He's not human. It's not human. Nobody should age like that.
Man, Val Kilmer was such an attractive man back in the day.
He was a beautiful.
He was
person.
like Brad Pitt before Brad Pitt.
Yes, he was.
And then Brad Pitt came along, broke the mold, and kept the mold going.
Brad Pitt still looks pretty good.
How old is Brad Pitt? He's got to be in his 50s.
I don't know. Yeah, I would say so.
56.
Wow. God. He's gonna be one of those guys who looks good at 60.
Yeah.
Val Kilmer provides more evidence that Iceman dies in Maverick. Oh boy, that's not good.
Oh, all right. Well, that's a good spoiler. All right. So
Anyways,
now, thank you guys for listening and watching. That's to you, Brian.
Yeah, part of the journey is the State Classic Planet Club. Oh, by the way,
I'm so hungry for lunch.
Quick thing, yeah, me too. Quick thing to follow on Instagram.
Yeah.
Make sure you follow Jay Cutler on Instagram. He's much more fun in retirement than he was in his playing days. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
And also now he got rid of that Karen wife of his, admittedly as hot as she was. What's her name? There, Kristen Cavallari or whatever. Yeah. I think they're divorced. But I think that might be the best thing for him. But now he's on the farm a lot, and he's got a lot of chickens apparently. And there was just one video that he posted the other day, and it was sort of funny because he I think he referred to like his cat as like a savage murderer who he thinks might have killed one of his chickens or something. It's just, the video is funny. You got to watch it. It's great. I happened upon it, I think on Monday or Tuesday morning while I was going through Instagram or something like that, and I was just like, oh my God, this is great. So follow Jay Cutler on Insta. I think it's worth it. He's again, I think Jay Cutler's one of those guys that you're gonna, especially if he played for one of your teams, that you probably will like him or appreciate him more in retirement than in his playing days.
So did you
especially if you're a Bears fan or a Broncos fan?
Do you like Pete Holmes? Comedian.
Yes, I do. Yeah, he's funny.
Did you follow him when he was at his TV show?
He's the guy that does like the Batman, right?
Yes, the Batman.
Yeah, the Batman. Yeah.
Yes, he did that with College Humor.
Yes, he did that with. That's most of what I know him from.
Did you see him do like when he had his late night show for like a year and a half?
No.
He used to do all sorts of like red tape stuff for like Street Fighter and X-Men, like where he played Professor X, and he was firing some of the X-Men. Like he basically he's
I
like,
think I know.
so
I think I did see this.
he's like, Wolverine, so what's your special ability? He's like, well, I got these claws. And he's like, so your main power is that you're made of metal, and our number one enemy controls metal. Why should I keep you? And like they kind of go back, but it's like really
I think I did
super
see
funny. And there's one with him and Mark Paul Gosselaar
Yeah.
when they are
really?
and Mark Paul Gosselaar's playing Ryu from Street Fighter.
Okay.
Dude. And
Oh, I
then
gotta
you go
check
if you
that out.
watch that and then you watch the outtakes one.
Yeah.
And like when he does drunk James Bond,
Yeah.
that makes me
I'll check it
pee. Like
I'll check it
pee
out.
my pants.
Speaking of which, I watched.
I'll send them to you.
I watched.
I just watched them because they're like from 6 years ago. So
I watched a favorite movie of ours last night that you and I have in common. I just was like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna put this on" because I wanted to laugh, and I still laughed hysterically. Million Ways to Die in the West.
it's a good movie.
People die.
Underrated
People
movie.
die at the fair.
That is an underrated movie.
Extremely underrated. That would definitely show up on one of my "How is this only" lists because
I think we have had it on.
I think we did. Yeah, we did actually. You're right. We did.
Because that is ridiculous that it's not rated higher than it is. That's one of those I think that will do better as time goes on.
Yeah, it's so great. It's so great. I still was like laughing hysterically at certain scenes last night. I'm like, damn, I've seen this movie 20 times. Easily. Probably 30, 40 times I've seen that damn movie, and I still was laughing.
So good.
All right, we got to go. We both got to go.
Yeah.
Got
All
stuff
right.
to do.
Peace out.
All right.
Much love. I'm going to send you the links to those videos. You have to let me know what you think. All right.
All right. Well, yes, thank you. I appreciate you
Wow,
doing
that's
my
some
dirty
serious
work for
pit
me.
stains. Got to turn
cool.
the air conditioner on.
I turned. That's why I like to wear a lot of dark clothes.
Yeah.
It's helpful.
I went
Although
hardcore.
I'm not pit sweaty right now though either. Yeah, look at that. That's lovely. That's
Where am I
that's a
going?
good way to go out.
Where am I going? I'm going to go to the kitchen and have some lunch.
Yeah, me too.
All right, man. Talk to you
All
later.
right.
Peace out. Bye. Ding, ding.